Hello, everyone. Welcome, English lovers. It's a great pleasure today because it's my first time and I'm going to have a very special guest. And just a second, here you are, Marcela Sancho.
Hey, it's so good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. You are the first guest, and this is history. We are going to make history today.
Very
And
happy to be part of it.
me too. And let me just say something about the channel for people who, of course, who don't know me. I'm Alessandro from Italy, and the purpose of this channel is mainly to share my knowledge, expertise, experiences. I've been developing a lot of skills all along my learning journey. But the core message of this channel is try to help you in a way that maybe you can get rid of this mentality of being a learner forever and try to switch to a new approach and to become an English speaker for a lifetime. This is my one of the main purpose of this channel. And please, Marcela, introduce yourself, please.
Okay. So I'm an English teacher. I'm Marcela. I'm from Argentina. I love what I do. I think English is my passion. I've been working as an English teacher forever. And it's funny how you put it, that what you said about being learners or being teachers. This is just a name. I think we have to be speakers of the language. And I love that. Stop being just in those positions of learning and teaching, but being out there and using what we know and communicating. And that's what I love about teaching English. I think I do what I want and I achieve my goals when I feel my students are ready to communicate and are ready to get out of their comfort zones and enjoy the journey and sort of like reap their rewards, enjoy the effort of learning, can see what they can get with English.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I totally agree with you because for a very long time I felt like I was trapped in this. I don't know if I can call it an illusion or just a state of my mind, and I felt a learner. So when I was learning, it wasn't enough. So I did something, but it wasn't enough. I wasn't ready for something, or I felt that in a way I didn't belong in that place, or I was scared of maybe other native speakers because they can judge me. So this kind of stuff that I think you know because you have been teaching to a lot of students in the last few years. And so
32 years, by the way.
32 years.
I've been teaching
Wow.
English for 32 years. Yes.
Wow. Let me tell you something else, because this session is for not for us, but it's all about people who are watching us and listening. And if you have any questions, please, we are going to be more than happy to answer. And also, we have a great grammar teacher today, so you can challenge her, I think, in a way.
Okay. I hope I'm up for the challenge.
Yeah. In the meantime, let me ask you a question, just to break
Yes.
the ice. So, what are the most common questions asked to you by your students?
Okay, that's a great question. So lately, I think the students that have been contacting me have been students who are, I would say, who can master their English skills. So they are not beginners. They are not elementary students. They are pre-intermediate, intermediate students with a B1/B2 level. So most of them come to me because they feel they are insecure. They feel that they've been learning English for a long time, just what you're saying. They've been learners for a long time, that they don't dare start using their language because they feel that when they talk, they second guess everything they've learned. They feel insecure. They don't know anything about grammar. They start thinking of, I sound like a baby. I sound like a child. My English is not good enough. and they want to learn very complicated grammar structures to feel that they are really performing. They feel that, again, their grammar is not enough, their vocabulary is not enough. They want to build up their vocabulary. Sometimes they feel they are not clear, and it has to do with their pronunciation or their intonation or the way they convey the message. So there's a lot of questions that people come with. And sometimes I feel that these are questions that they haven't really thought of, like deeply. They just repeat questions that they hear, but they haven't really done the work and really ask themselves what it is that is preventing them from becoming speakers of the language.
Yeah. So in a way, they don't really know what they need in order to succeed, to level up their English level or English skills.
Absolutely. Or, as we have talked before, they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and they keep getting the same results over and over and over again. So it's very interesting. I just read something that I was I'm not gonna say it right now. I'm gonna say it later on. But I read something that I think really applies to what we're talking about right now.
Yeah. And let me say something about because it's my first time, so I'm just getting used to StreamYard. So let me say hello to Rosario Oliva, Daniela Vazinkova, Ali Fern, Maria Angelillo, that is my cousin.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, Maria. And hi to my dear friend and mentor, Manol. So
wow, there's so many people out there that I want to say hi to.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure. So it's fantastic. And let's skip to another question before starting talking about something very practical about grammar, because we want to share something very practical. What are the typical challenges that they try to avoid because of their fear, doubts, and uncertainties?
So I guess that the saddest challenge is they don't want to talk. Students don't want to talk. They don't dare talk because they are afraid of making mistakes. So what is the challenge? They don't want to talk, and then they miss out on a lot of opportunities. So that doubt, that fear, that uncertainty, or those uncertainties put them in a place where they don't want to speak up. Those fears are holding them back, and that conversation in their heads is preventing them from going to places. And at the end of the day, that is what English should be all about: connecting us, giving us the opportunity to be, like you and me. You're in Italy, I'm in Argentina. Why are we talking here? Because we know English. So English should be that link between people and not the obstacle that is preventing us from moving forward, or creating making friends, or just enjoying trips, or just because we are not 100% sure that we're going to nail that sound or that structure, or we're not going to have that word that we want to use. So I think those are the biggest challenges: feeling that the English they have is not enough to say what they want to say. And I want to say that if you're in a B1 level or B2 level, and names are not important, but what I'm saying is, if you've been learning English for some time already, and I know you know what I'm talking about, you guys also, you are ready to say what you want to say. The most important thing is that you know that you have what it takes to deal with challenges, because I'm not saying that when you start talking, you will have all the words, excuse me, you'll be able to retrieve the words, you'll have all those grammar structures available for you. I'm just saying that you have to know what to do when that happens. And in order to develop those strategies, you want to face those fears, even in conversations, and not necessarily speaking with your boss, but speaking with people who are your friends, or are having classes, or having someone that can, give you some feedback. But be ready to do the work. Be ready to use those grammar structures that you're not so sure how to use them. You're not so sure about how to use them, or the words, or the pronunciation. Being ready to do the work, the repetition, the mistakes, so that you know what to do when that happens in real life.
Yeah.
things like say, oh, I forget the word. What's wrong with that? I forget the word. That happens to us in Spanish, Italian. So I forget the word, then that's okay. But we have to know that it's okay. We have to know that if we make a mistake, it's also okay, because we are trying. If we don't try, we don't make a mistake, and we don't learn. Also with the words, we've all been corrected by native speakers, all of us. Oh, but not in a bad way. Like sometimes I remember I said, I was speaking with this very good friend of mine. She's American. We were talking, and I'm like, yeah, last night I saw the Oscars, the Oscars award ceremony. And she's like, what's that? I'm like, the Oscars. Oh, you mean the Oscars? And I'm like, yeah, I mean the Oscars. And she was like trying to be, not trying to correct me. It just didn't, the sound I made didn't meet her expectations. And then it was something that was a little bit off, but that's okay. I learned it. And I have, this anecdote to share with my students, and it's okay. I survived.
Yeah, but I'm happy that you mentioned this, because when I started this new adventure with this channel, I was, as you mentioned, a little bit afraid of speaking aloud for myself. And from time to time, I was watching my recordings, and I noticed that I made a few mistakes over there, over here. And I realized it doesn't matter, because as you said before, just yesterday, for example, I was at the post office, and I was asking something to someone, and I forgot the word in my native language. Another person told me, "Oh, guy, we don't have the entire day." So it could happen. It's happening on a daily basis on my native language. So there's nothing wrong when we make a mistake in a second or a third language. It's normal. Oh, just one thing before switching to something else, because you mentioned something, and I want to ask you something that it could be very useful for people who are listening to us. Can you share a few daily habits, just a few, that we can integrate into our weekly grammar practice?
Okay, so first of all, the most important thing is that you identify what you want to learn. Okay, so this is the thing. It's not I want to improve my grammar. This is a little bit vague. Okay, so grammar should be that is the structure that you need to use in order to say what you want to say. Okay, so that is what grammar is for. You don't need, all the tenses, all the, the nuances. Yes, it's amazing to know them. I love them. I love grammar, but you don't need all the grammar, and you don't need perfect grammar to say what you want to say. Having said so, once you start, and very connected to that, once you start talking, first things first, start talking. When you start talking and you find yourself that you cannot say what you want to say, you want to analyze what it is that you're lacking. Is it vocabulary? Is it that you don't know how to say the word? Is it that you don't have the structure to convey the message? So if it is the second, the latter, if you don't have the structure, so that's what you want to study. So first of all, you have to find out about that structure, understand when you use it, and you will know when you use it because you wanted to use it and you didn't have it for you. It wasn't available. So you know now that it's useful. So you learn something when it's useful or when you like it. Otherwise, you will not learn. If you need it, then okay, so it's high time you get down to business and you do the work. Understand the reason why you want to learn it. Understand why it is important. Then understand the structure. So I'm using this verb and I'm using this preposition and I'm using this, like, you don't need names, but understand what's happening there. So once you understand what's happening there, see a lot of examples. Use AI, ChatGPT, Youglish, or anything, dictionaries, but don't think you're ready to talk just by understanding it or by knowing the structure. You need to see a lot of examples before you can produce yourself, because you want to copy, because you need confidence. And the way to get the confidence is copy what is correct. So read a lot of examples, take your time. it's going to pay off. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. So you want to learn conditionals. Okay, so you need the conditionals. So read the conditionals, understand how it, what it is all about, learn the structure, see a lot of examples, understand why you're using it, and after that, copy some sentences that relate to you. Repeat them, check that they are okay, either with, again, AI or a teacher or someone. Once you're sure about all the sentences, put them into practice. And next time you have a conversation, push yourself to use those structures that you want to learn. Make mistakes. Make mistakes, correct the mistakes, make mistakes, correct the mistakes until you nail it. That's it. There is no magic. It's just about knowing what that will bring. What will that bring? Why do I need to sit down and study these silly grammar structures? It's because you are going to use them, and you're going to, those hours of study will give you confidence. Trust that it will give you confidence. Because if you don't trust the work, you won't do it. Trust that it will get you results, and then know that that time will take you to places. It will take you to the new job. It will take you to that place of confidence. It will take you to making friends. So that is the trigger. Because otherwise it's tedious, it's boring, and it's not nice. So this is one thing. And another thing is use English as a means to something you like, right? If you like reading about politics or music or something, use English to learn something. And when you're reading something and you come across something that you like and you say, oh, I would love to say that. I don't know how to use it. I will learn. Or I know how to use it, but I don't use it. So I want to practice this particular structure, and I do the same thing. So it's out of need or out of love. And trust the progress. Trust the work.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. So we have to trust the work and the process. And I noticed that in the comments, there are new comments, and I think this one of Manol, don't learn to talk, but talk to learn. Exactly. And like expose yourself to the language, expose yourself to, sometimes, for example, when I'm among native speakers or non-native, even when I feel like an embarrassment, or I'm very frustrated because I wasn't able to explain my thoughts clearly. But that is great, because at least I gave it a try at that moment. It didn't work, but I learned something, and next time it's going to be better for sure.
And you didn't die, because this is our fear. What's the worst case scenario? Like, we will make a mistake. Think about it. It might happen. So what? You know how to deal with it. I forget the word, or how can I put this? Oh, can you help me with these words, because I forget? And you can ask you're creating bonds. This is language. And it's a challenge for me too, because I'm also a non-native speaker. And when I speak with, teachers who are native speakers, so, okay, I also have my own biases, as someone wrote, I think Daniela. Yes, we all have that, but we have to see what we bring to the table and what we won't get if we don't make the mistake, or if we don't dare, or if we don't expose ourselves.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, this is
yeah, I totally agree. And just to go a little bit deeper into details, because you mentioned before conditionals, I was listening to you very carefully. So would you like to just to tell us something about, I'm very interested in the second conditional.
Second conditional, okay. So I would ask you right now, as a seasoned student, if you were a teacher, like, first of all, do you like grammar?
Yeah, of course. For me, it's a tool to be able to implement my communication skills, for sure.
Right. And if you were a teacher, or if you had to help someone who's asking you this question, what would you tell them?
If I was a teacher, I would help you by sharing my knowledge. Or if I was a teacher, I would like to to be on your side and try to help you to understand that it's important to embrace the process, to embrace your mistakes, to embrace the journey. As someone says, it's not a destination, it's a journey.
So there we were using our conditionals, you know? And if you were a teacher, what would you do? What would you say? So conditionals are not something, again, that you will resort to when you get to the, you know, when you become an expert in the language. You need them now. So that's something you need to prioritize. Nailing conditional sentences is very cool because it gives you a lot of tools to talk about everyday things. Like if you, like, I have a problem and, you know, I don't know what to do. So I ask you, so what would you do if you were me? So if I were you, I would do this and that, conditional sentences. Or I don't know, like they are around the corner. So it's important that you understand what's happening in conditional sentences because it's tricky. You're using the past, talk about the present. So that makes some noise. So you want to understand and you really want to wrap your head around it until you say, okay, I get it. Now I understand that I'm using the past to talk about a present. So that is something that needs to click before you can use it. And then you eventually, if you do a lot of repetition and you see people using it, you hear people using it, and then you will be able to use it yourself. But first, give it time. Give it time. Repeat it. The brain takes time, and everybody has their own pace, you know? Think about it and push yourself. And next time you're doing your work and you're studying conditional sentences, go out and use them.
Yeah.
And make mistakes.
I wanna add something that is very personal because since the beginning of this live, we talked about practical stuff that everyone can relate to. And in my case, because we have a lot of a variety of learners, so visual learners, I think it's auditory learners. And in my case, I need to picture in my mind something that is very clear and meaningful. Because next time, even though if I don't remember the grammar structure, but it's going to be very easy for me to recall this memory. So for example, in my case, I have to build something that is related to something meaningful, and I have to feel engaged. So for example, when I think about the second conditional, something practical, the past is always following us. We can get rid of it. What if we are in charge of the past and use it to talk about a present situation that, of course, we know is not real? So for me, figure it out that way, it's something that is going to stick in my long-term memory. And when I need a structure, even though I don't remember the rule or I forgot about something, simply by thinking about the past is always there. I'm in charge. And I'm going to use it to talk about something that it could be to talk about a present situation that is not real, and we can talk about something in the future or in the past. Let me just make an example. If I had a travel machine, I would go to the future, or if I had a travel machine, I would go in the past and to visit my ancestors. So you can, it depends, because what I love about conditional, you can apply them in a variety of situations. For example, if you have a big dream and you say, if I had $1 million, I would buy a house, but I'm not a millionaire. So this is like in the future, but it's not going to happen.
You never know. Never say never.
Never know. It's unlikely to happen.
It's unlikely. Okay, but even if we think about it, but I totally agree with you. And I've seen how people have implemented different strategies. And I think that's the beauty of it, that we teachers come with the knowledge, or because we love it, because we've learned it and we've enjoyed learning the theory, but it doesn't mean that the students want or like the theory. So any method that teacher and students come up with, it's what works. So what works is what works. You know, there is not a name, there is not a way. The way is the way that works, and I think that's the beauty. And once again, that has to do with knowing yourself, knowing your style, and not just saying, I want to learn the conditions. Okay. So if you really want to learn conditionals, you have to do the work, and what you're doing shows that you know who you are and what works for you.
Yeah. And before ending this fabulous session, I want to share this message from Daniela.
She's amazing.
If I were a teacher, I would love to be as awesome as Marcela and make people to fall in love with grammar. I think that like a screen, so I wouldn't be able to imagine a better happy ending for this session.
Thank you, Daniela. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I think that we have been, thanks to Marcela, we have been focusing on many aspects of grammar, and we tried to give you and share with you some very practical advice and something that you can use in your, not only in your daily life, but also you can integrate in your daily English conversation, in your daily habits. So a lot to talk about, and maybe one day we can have even another session to talk about something else. And if you have any question, you can reach out to us in our Facebook profile, and so we can keep getting in touch.
Can I say something? I want to say something. Sure, I just read. I heard it's a reel that I saw that really stuck in my head, and it says the magic that you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. And I love it, because we all want something that is magical, but it's not magical if we do the work we don't want to do. So it's not about, you know, the willpower or anything. It's about the motivation. Do the work you're avoiding. I have to do it also in order to get that magic that we are after. So it's just a matter of doing it and doing it in a way that is fun and effective.
Yeah. Wow. So I saw that Elisa Dettori from Italy, the best ending. So she's agreed with us. Hi, Elisa.
Hi, Elisa. How are you doing?
And from Maria, fantastic work, Alessandro and Marcela. So
thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so sorry. Thank you so much, Marcela, for spending this precious time with us. We learned a lot, and I think a lot of people who are going to watch us on YouTube, because I'm going to make a shorter version of the video for YouTube, and also I'm going to share it on Facebook. And I think a lot of viewers, learners, speakers can benefit from all your advice, piece of advice, and you shared a lot of interesting tips and insights about grammar. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Alessandro. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, and bye. See you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.